Hello, Internet. This is Mike, YouTube. How you guys are doing today? Hope you're doing well. What I'm doing is I'm going to check another distribution by Linux. This is called Ubuntu 18.04, which is the newest iteration of the long-term support Linux distribution, and we're going to try it out on my 2008 Mac. I just pressed the button. All the lights are on, and we hit the you have a non-Mac computer, you hit the Alt button to boot up to a flash drive, and there it is. We go over to the EFI build boot, hit enter, and here we go. We're going to go ahead and try Linux Ubuntu on the 2008 Mac. Now, I've already booted on here, and it's funny. There's a funny thing about this particular distribution that I do not understand. And the older distributions had no problem with finding broadcast or Broadcom drivers for Wi-Fi. But I want to show you something. You might give you a little pause to try this on some computers. Give it a second to boot up. Finish booting up with the black screen. Okay, the light is blinking, so she is working. She's a little slow at booting up on this particular computer compared to my main computer for testing. It's funny, when the light goes off like that, you'd think it's quit, but actually it hasn't. And here we are, starting to get some screen activity. And the famous moving dot for Ubuntu. Same one for Mint. I believe almost any of the Ubuntu-based distributions have a similar setup with the dots moving across or coloring across. It should be booted up any second now. Now I'm going to go through what I like about Ubuntu, and one glaring example which you might run into on some computers. And to me, there's really no excuse for it, but we'll wait till it gets done booting and we'll point it out. Okay, there's my mouse has appeared. Okay, so one big change this year with the Ubuntu compared to the 16 series is we no longer have the Unity desktop. We are now using GNOME, which is actually, in my opinion, quite good. This is where Ubuntu started many years ago with the GNOME desktop. GNOME, some people call it GNOME, some call it GNOME. I call it GNOME, so GNOME, GNOME. Depends on, I guess you might say, where you're from, or so to speak. But anyway, this is much simpler, much more responsive, less resource heavy than the old Unity desktop, and really easy to use. This is very Mac or iOS and Android like, which is very nice. So if you're used to Android and you like the way this opens up your programs, and of course you can scroll it. Now let's get on to what one glaring thing that you might give you pause when you're trying to use this Ubuntu. Okay, let's go to settings. Come on, settings. Notice one glaring right there. right away. Can't find my Broadcom Wi-Fi card. There's really no excuse for this, Ubuntu. I'm sorry. And I have the same thing running with Mint. 2008, commonly used computer. Many people have used Linux distributions on these things for years, and yet this particular newer Linux distribution cannot find a common Broadcom Wi-Fi card. Cloud ready, Windows 10 finds it easily. In fact, any Windows version finds this, almost any, going back to Windows XP. I'm sure. I haven't tried Windows XP, but Windows 7 even finds my Wi-Fi adapter for this particular computer. I don't get it. It's a common Wi-Fi. It's a common Wi-Fi card. Anyway, I do like the layout for the control panel or settings. It's very simple. Everything's there. Another thing that this particular distribution didn't find on my other computer, it did find a Wi-Fi, but it did not find my Bluetooth connected stereo, so I don't understand that either. So it seems the days of Linux finding everything, or finding most things, or finding everything, not looking for drivers, is getting to be pretty much over, I suppose. But let's try it.
Front, right.
Okay, so the speakers,
left.
speaker test works fine. Alright, that's good. Of course I already knew that. Almost everything worked on my other computer. Now someone might say that basically, well, why don't you install it to hard drive? No, I don't think so, because that's what the live distribution's for, is testing out to make sure everything works on live. And I've done enough testing with the Ubuntu that I know when pretty much whether you install it live or use a flash drive or even virtual, it runs pretty much the same. So there's really no point in most cases to install it to the hard drive for just testing. But anyway, that's my rundown of what I think of Ubuntu. I think it is a fine distribution. I just think it's a shame that a person will have to hunt down drivers on a modern Linux distribution to run some computers. So it's not a run all, find all situation anymore. Anyway, I hope that this was useful for booting up Linux. And like I said, if you're running from a flash drive and you're running a Windows keyboard, hit the alternate button, and on a Mac, if you want to boot to, you hit the options button. And then again, if you want to boot to a CD-ROM, you hit the C button after you hear that noise, that horn noise. Anyway, everyone have a good day and take care. Bye now.